The new evolution of AI has made book planning, book writing, and book marketing easier than ever. You can see right here on the screen that I have logged into my Gemini account. This is a prompt that I just came up with. I think the more specific prompt instructions you give, the better output you give. I like to start with giving the AI a role like you're the best writer and project assistant in the world, and then give it a specific task, in this case, to map out a strategy for creating a book series with tasks, with deadlines, and include your topic, whatever your topic is. It could be a novel, so fiction, or it could be nonfiction. So it could be about self-improvement. It could be about managing your finances. It could be about learning cybersecurity or learning a language, whatever you want it to be about. I'll put this prompt in the video description so you can grab it and use it. You put the title of your book there. You can ask AI to come up with the title or title options. But if you have a title, go ahead and plug it in the prompt and give it a deadline in a sense. Giving it an ultimate deadline here will help it come up with the mini deadlines for all the other tasks. You can adjust this section with the tasks that you specifically want. Here is the template I came up with. The map or the project map should include research for the book, again, fiction or nonfiction, outlining the book itself. This part, you can either do that yourself, ask for some assistance in writing the book, or ask the AI to write the whole book for you. Social media campaign. Now, if you know the social media that you use, you can ask it for the specific type of post for the social media you use. Images. This can depend on what kind of images you want for your particular book. I say come up with a book cover. Now, Gemini can do that, but I think probably there's some different AIs that are better at book cover images. I like Ideogram, but certainly you can give Gemini a try, or the million other AIs that are out there that you can come up with a good book cover. Now, scene images can help you storyboard your book. Those scene images can be useful for a website, useful if you're doing video marketing like on YouTube. And for creating this book trailer later, that can also be helpful. Also, marketing images, like I mentioned. So a book trailer video is basically just a movie trailer for your book. You can turn your book into a podcast by creating an audio version and uploading that as a podcast, or you can feed your book into an AI that will create an automatic podcast for you. Pretty easy. I'll put some resources down in the video description to help you with that. And you can use AI to create a website. Let's say, for example, that I wanted to write a book or book series about learning French, something that I'm really trying to do now, and I have been trying to do for the last couple of years. Let me show you how I tweaked this prompt to get a more specific outcome that I wanted. I still kept "You're the best writer and project assistant in the world. Please map out a strategy with tasks and deadlines for creating a book series about," and I plugged in my topic, learning French. But not just any learning French. It's learning French using the most advanced learning strategies based on polymaths and the latest published research on rapid learning. Notice how I got really specific there. I think that's helpful. Instead of giving a specific deadline, I just said, give me a 12-month timeline. That could be 30 days. It could be 3 months. It could be 10 years. Whatever the timeline you want, let it be that. The map should include research for the book, in this case, learning strategies, outlining the book. And then I gave it some more specific instructions. I want a simple outline with a complete learning plan from zero to fluency. From zero to fluency might be a great title. Helpful and fun exercises for each chapter of the book. I want to do the writing of the book myself mostly, but I do want Gemini or whatever AI I'm using to give me exercises and help along the way. Instead of just a social media campaign, since in this made up scenario, I'm using only Twitter, give me 10 book marketing tweets, a book cover image, or at least a plan for one, marketing images to go with the tweets, a short and exciting book trailer video, again, just a plan for now, a simple and sleek Google site website that would be free or mostly free. I plan to create a podcast out of my book using AI. Give me the plan, and then we will go through the steps of actually doing the tasks together. Here is what I think you should try. Take your time to think about the best way to do all of this before you respond. Use deep and logical reasoning. I gave it an example just for fun. You know how AI came up with a new go game move never seen before? Use that type of creative reasoning to fulfill this request. use 100% of your capacity and capability. I'm saying that because sometimes if you don't ask it to use all of its power, you might get a surface level response, but I want the best response possible. So it took a while to deconstruct the task. Here's the roadmap. 12-month book series, and a book series might be interesting for this. And here's the core philosophy. Here are some book title suggestions. I think I like Zero to Fluency better if it's not already taken, which it might be. So this is if it's a 3-book series, and I like that. That's actually interesting. Now, the overall 12-month timeline at a glance. Of course, this is giving me in list format, but you could ask for all of this in a table or an Excel file that it could create for you. But here are the months, all 12 months of research, content creation. Here's a more detailed outline of each one of the tasks. And as we keep going down, we'll see not only information about each one of the tasks and parts of the book, but down here you can see we're already getting some of the tweets. So we have 10 draft tweets right there already ready to go. We have everything from research to launching the actual book series. Here's some tips for creating the podcast. The next thing we're going to do is ask Gemini to conduct the deep research. To do that, I created a prompt here that you can read on the screen. I click the deep research link down here, and that's going to start a new chat. Let's do that. When you go to do this yourself, you might want to add some more context to connect this chat with the other conversation so that you get the exact kind of research that you want. This is a way to focus just on the research in this conversation. Different AIs do this differently, but with Gemini, it'll tell you exactly what it's going to do for the research, which is everything from definitions to analyzing strategies to synthesizing and distilling the research and summarizing the findings. So and then it'll ask you if you want to start the research or you can actually edit that plan. In this case, I'm going to start the research. It can take up to a few minutes to do this because it's doing a lot of research. So I'm going to pause now, come back when it's done and show you the results. Here we go. Check this out. So Gemini looked at about 40 different websites at least to create this research plan. It's got overviews, historical information about learning strategies. We can actually see a list of the polymath, their principles, and how to apply it to French learning. Now let's talk about the science of rapid and effective learning. We have lots of information here, and then we have different strategies like chunking and active recall. Here are some evidence-based high-impact strategies from cognitive science. And we can go through here. We have the technique, the description, utility rating, and key considerations. All of this can be helpful. Each one of these can be a different chapter in the book or just a different lesson in the book. Here we have optimizing your skill acquisition. We have lots of information in a very short and simplified version to make it easy to put into the book. Here is a bunch of sources for this information. If you want to know what the AI was thinking about, you can go down here. Here's a couple cool things you can do with this research for your book. You can export all of this research to docs. You can actually create an audio overview. Let's do that and see how that goes. So we're going to click that, generating an audio overview. One cool thing you could do with deep research is that you can conduct deep research for every chapter or every principle in your book. If you're writing a novel, you can do deep research on each major setting or each major type of job that your character has, or different genres to make sure that you're not recreating anything that's already been done before in the exact same way. What these AI tools can do right now with code is absolutely mind-blowing. It's just getting better and better. So I asked for Gemini to give me some code. I tested it out. It looked pretty good, but I wanted to make it better. GUI is the graphical user interface. And so I asked for just a better looking website. It spit out all this code. You can go to something like JSPad, paste it in here. And here's what we get. Look at this. This isn't perfect, of course, but it's pretty good for just some really quick coding from AI. So we have polymath French. We have the different sections here. It even has a background image, which is pretty cool. I didn't expect that. Explore the series. Go down here. You have like about the series, different sections about pre-ordering. Of course, this would all have to be filled out, but there's a place for the book cover too, coming soon from our learning lab. Look at all this about the author. There's even a join the newsletter. This is actually pretty darn great. I am very impressed with this. And you could, of course, continue to improve it. We're not going to go through every single one of these tasks because I think you can see the possibilities. But one thing I do want to show you is that you can take a introduction or part of your book or your entire book, and you can feed it into an AI like Notebook LM, which is also owned by Google. And you can create an entire podcast or audio version about that chapter of the book for marketing or for the entire book and sell that as its own standalone product. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to copy this information. I'm going to go over to Notebook LM. It's free to set up an account. I'm going to create a new notebook. I'm going to simply copy my text. You can also upload it if you'd like. So I'm going to insert it there, and then I'm going to create, you can have an audio overview or generate a deep dive conversation between two hosts. Other cool things you can do is create a study guide, an FAQ. That could be for your book or book series for marketing or for your website, a briefing doc. There's so many cool things you can do with these tools. You can actually do it in different languages, which is interesting. There's different ways you can customize this deep dive conversation, but I'm just going to generate the most simple and basic version right now because even that is really good. I want to show you the possibilities here. Again, it's going to take a moment to do that. I'll pause, come back when it's ready to show you the final output. As you can see over here, we have a 12-minute podcast, and that's based on a very short introduction and chapter. Imagine if we had other documents, other resource documents, more chapters, or the complete book. Here is the podcast.
You're here because you're thinking about French, right? There's that spark. Maybe it's the culture, the sound of it, that's something. But maybe you've tried learning before.
Yeah, and maybe hit that wall, that frustrating feeling where things just don't quite click.
And it's easy to think, oh, maybe languages just aren't for me.
Which is such a common thought. If we look at how really effective learners operate, people who learn across different fields well, there might be another way.
Precisely. And that's what this deep dive is really about. We're setting aside the endless grammar charts, the vocab lists you forget instantly. We're looking at a fresh approach inspired by some ultimate learners, polymaths. Think Leonardo da Vinci, Marie Curie.
Learning smarter, not just grinding harder.
Yes. And it really makes you wonder, what did they do differently? What's missing from maybe some traditional language classes?
Our source today, it's excerpts from Mastering French with Polymath Strategies, starts to unpack exactly that. It looks at their mindset, their techniques.
Okay, so our mission today has got two parts.
Okay, that's enough just to show you how cool that is. You can actually do an interactive mode where you can ask questions and interact with the two podcasters. Think about the possibilities for marketing. Think about the possibilities for creating an audio type version of your book or book series. Before I forget to show you, here is the movie trailer that I created with Gemini. And you can just tweak this as much as you want to create an even better video. So many cool things you can do with these new AI tools and new AI features. And it's just getting better and better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.